Welcome to He is the King, and we are joined now by the King himself, Gary Margolis, a legendary Southern California sports gambler. Gary, thanks for being with us.
Well, thank you, Norman, for having me on.
Can you give us any of your bona fides? Why are you a good sports gambler?
I'm pretty much a contrarian. I do well in the horse racing too, and I think it's the way I am. I'm always like, if everyone's on one side, I like to be on the other side. So I like to be the lone wolf.
That's not bad because the public's usually wrong, so you just stand on the other side of the street.
I try to do that.
All right, what's on your mind today? World Series? What do you want to talk about?
Let's start with the World Series. Okay. I would say if the Dodgers lose to Tampa Bay, it would be equivalent to Villanova losing to Georgetown or Villanova beating Georgetown or North Carolina State beating Houston. This is such a mismatch. The only advantage, okay, I can look at the pitching. You look at Glasnow is like Buehler, and Morton, I think, is like Kershaw. We can make those comparisons. And Snell might be better than the other three. But the Dodgers have three other top starters. But I think already the only advantage I'd give Tampa Bay is the manager. And the fact that he doesn't have the meddling of the Dodgers front office. I feel like the Dodgers are semi like the Cowboys. Their front office gets involved instead of just letting the manager manage the team. And I look at game two where they used up May and Gonsolin. I mean, the first thing was malpractice. Gonsolin had between like 11 or 13 days off. I mean, he was pitching better than everyone on the staff, and somehow he didn't pitch. They didn't even throw him in for a few innings or something, and I think his whole cycle is off. So that's why maybe he's not pitching as well. And May, you don't know when he's playing or not. So now the fourth starter is going to have to be Urias. Urias was the only one who was pitching really good out of the bullpen. So I would have used Urias and probably put May and tried to start him in game four. But
okay, everybody's a backseat manager, but you seem to really disrespect the Rays.
Well, hey, who do they have that can hit other than that kid who nobody even knows who is? I know a Cardinal fan who loves the Cardinals, and I asked, who did you get for that guy? He said, I have no idea. They didn't even know who this kid was. And he turned into the one-man team. I mean, look at these guys' numbers. I mean, they're just not that good at hitting the ball. And I know they won. It's because of pitching. But the Dodgers have dominant everything. They have great pitching that can match the Tampa Bay's pitching. I just think if they lose, they're being managed incorrectly.
All
okay.
Right. So
I can leave that.
You think a Rays upset here is in line with Villanova beating Georgetown? Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Ridiculous. And then let's talk about the NFC East, another fun place to go. Okay. The way I look at it is most people think it's between the Cowboys and the Eagles. I think the other side. The Redskins and the Giants play hard, and I know they look like terrible teams. But here, the Cowboys are just a mess. Everyone just moves the ball as much as possible. I mean, they're so close to having no wins because that Falcon game, how they came back and won. They actually found a team that was worse. But I think there will be good betting opportunities with the Giants
and the Redskins
and the Redskins
or the Washington football team. Okay,
exactly.
So you think those two one team? You believe those two one-win teams? One of them wins the division?
I think so, unless things change. Well, the Eagles, I actually say could, but they are so injured. I've never seen a team with the rash of injuries. Well, the 49ers might be the exception, but these teams have been hurt so bad, so many injuries. And now they don't have their running back, who's a great player, and their receivers. I mean, every one of them and now supposedly Jackson's back, but then they lose their tight end. I mean, this team has been killed by injuries.
Okay. Everybody has injuries. The White House was devastated by injuries during the past 4 years. They lost a lot of people onto IR. Okay, what games are you picking this week?
Okay, well but I also want to talk about who I think are the two best teams right now. They're not the ones that everyone says, but I mean maybe. So I believe the Steelers and the Buccaneers are the two best teams because they play incredible defense. You saw the way the Buccaneers played against the Packers. And I think Brady didn't have as good receivers and they needed to get meshed. So now that Gronk's doing well, and then Godwin and Evans, they're really limping right now. Once they're all healthy, I mean, that team can score so many points, and they can play such great defense. The Steelers' defense right now, other than Tampa Bay, is off the charts. And that their drafting of the Claypool kid, he's phenomenal. I think he's as good as any receiver I've ever seen at this stage. You know, he reminds me of Calvin Johnson, just so big, strong, and fast.
Okay, Mr. Hyperbole. Okay. I unless you want to give me some soybean futures, I have you here to pick games.
Okay, let me give you the games. Okay, here's your games I'm going to give you. Okay, actually, this one team, I've won more bets on this one team than any in college, which is Iowa State, and I'm going to give you them against Oklahoma State. That they're getting a few points there. I think it's 3.5, something like that. And Matt Campbell, ever since he took over the program and changed it, and then Brock Purdy, the quarterback, is fantastic. You will see. I think they could win easily against Oklahoma State. They already beat Oklahoma, and they have one loss. Oklahoma has none, so maybe that's why they like Oklahoma State. But again, the strength of schedule. Oklahoma State somehow always gets an easy schedule to start the season, and then they're like a team people think have a chance. No one in that Big 12 is going to go undefeated because they're the last of the undefeated. So.
All right, so you're going to take Iowa State.
I like Iowa State.
Iowa State +3 against Oklahoma State, even though I'm sure you cannot name 3 players on either team. All right, let's go with your next pick.
Okay, so my next pick, let's go with the Panthers getting a touchdown against the Saints. Well, right now I have a rule. Chris Sims, I give him more credit than any sportscaster. I think he's good and talented like his father, except the difference, his father takes no risk. Chris Sims only takes risk. He'll go out and say what he believes, and he'll say the truth. He'll say the facts. Why, Phil will be more the guy who will say, this guy's a good player, even though he knows there's flaws. Well, the most flawed player, I think, right now, or one of the most, is Drew Brees. It's hard to put down a legend, but it's time. He was the first person I saw who really stepped up and said, Drew Brees can't throw the ball down 20 yards and complete a pass. I mean, it's been proven over and over again. He throws, why he gets such great stats, he has amazing players around him. I think the Saints are the most talented team. They're right there, at least with with those other teams I mentioned, and the Chiefs. They're right at the very, very elite. But I think the quarterback position is holding them back. And yet they have someone right behind them, Jameis Winston. So I'm the one person calling for Jameis. And I know he threw a lot of interceptions, but he threw the ball down the field. Just think how great I would think the Saints could be if they could throw the ball down the field.
All right, so you're going to take the Panthers getting the points against the Saints, and give us a third and final pick. And please keep in mind I have a lunch reservation at Wiener Schnitzel.
Okay. Well, let me give you 2 real quick things. I like the Patriots. Even though laying a couple points, I think they're going to bounce right back. Okay, but right. My other big pick is the Steelers getting one against the Titans. The Steelers are just the better team, and I think they'll show it. And the Titans have played such a hard schedule. See, remember, Monday night winners are always a good bet against. They were a Tuesday night winners. Then they played the game against the Texans. The Texans could have beat them, but things went so wrong, and they were way ahead. And I think they tired out. Now to have this game, and now have to play the Steelers too. I just think the Titans are going to be. It's going to be a tough game for them to beat the Steelers.
All right. So you are taking Iowa State, the Carolina Panthers, the New England Patriots, and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Thank you, Gary Margolis. He is the king. By the way, Gary, before I let you go, why do they call you the king?
I am the king.
Okay, that's good enough for me. Thank you very much, Gary. We'll talk to you again next week.
All right. Thank you, Norman. Bye.